Hi everybody, my name is Jeremy Siskin. I am the author of this book, Playing Solo Jazz Piano, which I highly recommend you go to my website and purchase. And today I want to talk to you about thinking orchestrally at the piano. And this means thinking about this instrument in front of us as though it had all of these possible sounds to offer, which it does. It can be a whole orchestra or a whole big band or anything like that. And so I'm going to walk you through some of my favorite kind of mental tricks to get me thinking in some different ways. In fact, I'm just going to add something to the list right now because I just thought of it. So before I do, just a couple of quick notes. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe and comment. It helps me out. Secondly, I'm able to offer right now this incredible deal for a class through my community college. There's a link at the bottom to learn more, but you can also go to jeremysiskin.com/jazzclass to learn how you can get about 32 hour-long sessions for only $300, or if you live in the state of California, about $50. You can also sign up immediately to take a private lesson with me. So if you're interested, you can click the link below to schedule a private lesson. All right, on to the content. So it's really helpful mentally to think about different possibilities of the orchestra at the piano. And today I'm going to use the piece Darn That Dream, a beautiful ballad, to demonstrate these concepts. If you're not familiar, I'll play just a little bit for you. So. Great, so what if we wanted to think about that orchestrally? I have some tricks listed in no particular order, really. The first is to make what I call an additive arrangement. I'm sure there's a better term for this. But what I like to do for an additive arrangement, I don't even like saying that, is I'll start with just one instrument. And usually I'm kind of thinking of a wind instrument first, but I guess it could be lower. It could be like a cello or something. And it'll just be a single, maybe clarinet or oboe. At a certain point, that will become a duet. So maybe now we have a clarinet and a cello together. And then it'll become a trio. You can see why I'm calling this an additive arrangement. And then a quartet. Maybe at some point the full orchestra even comes in. I'll wait until the bridge. Still kind of four voices. And then watch this. And now we have the full arrangement. So it took us maybe 16 measures to go from just one melodic instrument to a full orchestra. So that's one possibility I love playing around with. And it's really nice sometimes to bookend that additive arrangement and add voices, add voices, add voices, and at the end subtract voices, subtract voices, subtract voices. Next is I love thinking about strings. If I were to make a string arrangement, not thinking about pizzicato yet, I'd probably have everything kind of coming together with the melody. I think they call it homophonic. Right, these big, lush chords, everything's legato with strings. I mean, it doesn't always have to be, but that's how I picture it in my imagination when I'm thinking of the stringiest sounding strings. But then it's fun to go against type and think about what if it was an arrangement for pizzicato strings. So I'm not sure what instrument's playing the melody now. Maybe it's just one violin playing arco, or maybe it's a wind instrument and everything's pizzicato beneath it, but I think that's kind of cool. It gives you almost a pointillistic sound. I think it could be so fun to think about the harp in the middle of an arrangement, right? And the harp can do a lot of things, but I always just hear it sweeping across the keyboard. So, if I'm playing... it doesn't have to be that often, of course, but man, that's fun to play with that sound. And just from a technical on the piano standpoint, for me, like the real key to doing anything like that is to alternate. I'll center this camera a little bit better, to alternate between the two hands. I don't have good enough technique that I can make really beautiful sounding arpeggios, so I do right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, so I don't have to deal with any of those cross-unders or crossovers. I love thinking about like Glockenspiel, like paired maybe with some flutes and piccolos to, have these really piercing octaves in the high register. And that could be for melodies, or I think it's even more fun to do it for something accompanimental. Just get that beautiful ring of that high register Glockenspiel. And I imagine it happening like in 3 or maybe 4 octaves with really firm fingertips to get that percussive sound. You could think about, dividing yourself at the piano into a soloist and the orchestra. And you could choose a different instrument to be the soloist. It could be first a violin. Melody so totally differently if I'm thinking about it as a violin. Or it's a cello. Or it's a vocalist. And, you could choose, is it an alto, a soprano, a tenor? Or it's a piano soloist in the orchestra. And you could make it like a classical concerto. Kind of fun to play around with. And then of course it doesn't have to be an orchestra. It could be a brass band, it could be a marching band. Gosh, my camera's off center. It could even, and I love this idea, what if you're thinking about a big band instead? Now I might have my bass kind of stay home. Trumpets could take over the melody for the second A section or something like that. You've got like cool options if you're thinking about arranging for a big band instead of for an orchestra. So that's it for today's video. I hope that that gives you some fun arranging ideas to play around with. You can really let your imagination run wild in terms of, you know, what instruments you're going to try to evoke on the piano. That's the beautiful thing about the piano, is that it can evoke so many different instruments. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you next time.